Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. You can hear me now, can you? Good. Right, right, behind me you can see a JCB digging away at a mountain of rubble, the former remains of an apartment block that's been demolished. One of many in Karosta that have been demolished lately. A large proportion of the Russian population moved back to Russia when the Russian naval port here closed, and I suppose you can say it's surplus to requirements now. At the same time, after the Russians left, or Soviets left, there's a lot of vandalism and a lot of the apartment blocks ceased to be fit for use for the future, so they're empty, they're being demolished. Essentially, I suppose you could almost say it's a dying city. At the same time, the question has to be asked whether or not it needed to die, in the sense that was there much enthusiasm on the part of the government to keep this area going and prosperous. One particularly thinks of encouragement of tourism. Maybe, perhaps, one will see in the future money coming from Europe to support this area to a certain extent. At the end of the day, those apartment blocks may not have been the best apartment blocks in the world. They certainly weren't. But let's just put it this way, if they were in Britain, they would have a considerable financial value even today to house people. So the impression one gets is one of sadness, maybe mismanagement to a certain extent, neglect, and a lack of thought and consideration for the long-term future of the area. Okay, can you hear me? Right, testing 1, 2, 3. Shall I now start talking? Right, I'm standing on a heap of rubble that was a house built in late Tsarist times, end of the 19th century. It's been demolished. Behind me, you can see a house that's yet awaiting demolition. It's been heavily vandalised, window frames torn out, internal walls torn out. The lower windows have all been bricked up to try and prevent further vandalism. Essentially, it's a great loss to the area. It's one of many houses around here that have been basically destroyed. The question is, why were they destroyed after the Russian army moved out of the area? And could something have been done to stop that demolition? Have you got the sound on? Testing 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay, behind us you can see a building that is ripe for restoration. It hasn't been too heavily vandalised. It's still got a roof. It's got, to a certain extent, window frames. The mouldings and rendering is still in reasonable condition. Rainwater goods obviously need attention, but that's restorable. If somebody puts the money into this building that we're looking at, it could be as good as the art gallery. On the other hand, if they don't put the money into it, it'll go the same way as buildings we've seen earlier, which have been heavily vandalised, falling down, robbed for their bricks, timber, etc., and will eventually be bulldozed. Really, a lot of it comes down to money, and it also comes down to motivation and will. There's the money there to bulldoze them and, cart away the rubble. Is there the money there to restore and maintain them? That's the question. Testing 1, 2, 3. Right, behind me is the wind generator, a few kilometres north of Liepājas harbour. It's immediately on the coastline, overlooking the sea. The coast here is sandy, ideal for tourism. the question is sort of really a conflict between the environmental view that maybe it doesn't look particularly nice and the economic aspect of, is it a good way of producing electricity? My own personal view is it's quite a good way of producing electricity, and some people may well not like it from the viewpoint of how it looks, but well, that's their problem really. Behind us, the shadows of the wind generator. Can I comment on that? Right. Testing 1, 2, 3. Okay, behind us you can see the old blockhouses of the batteries to the north of Liepājas port, and I think you can probably see the shadows being cast from the wind generator. That's well, actually the vanes are spinning immediately above me. It's a nice sunny day, and we're immediately on the coast of Latvia. Ideal bathing beach just over the top from the batteries here, and the batteries make good changing rooms for changing into bathing costumes. So you know, it's actually a very nice place to be. Hello? If I go back a bit, does that help? Aha! Can you get the echo? Okay, we're looking down the northernmost outer breakwater of Liepājas harbour, some 1800 metres in length. When the wind's blowing, the waves are breaking all the way along this coast, and immediately sort of in front of me there's an old set of, how shall we say, forgotten the term for it now. What are those things called? Right, I would cut it for 2 seconds while I look at my notes. Yeah, forts will do. That was there's another term in the map that's far better. I used it to you, a word that describes them. Batteries. Yeah. Front of me there are a set of batteries from the late 19th century that were blown up in 1908. Still